Hey guys, this is Julian with MovieWeb. How y'all doing today?
Hey,
Hey
man.
Julian, how are you, man?
I gotta tell you, I laughed my behind off in every frame of this movie. So congrats on making a very entertaining
Yay.
film.
Yes.
Yeah. All
Yay.
right, so let's ask
Who's
the
funnier,
audience.
me or Josh?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, the
Come on,
question
we're
is,
going to
who's
turn
better
this
at tidy
around on
whities?
you.
Yeah.
You're both equally funny. How about that?
Thank you.
There you go.
All
Safe.
right,
Play it
so
safe.
Yeah.
hey, I don't
Look,
want to get
look
fired.
left if it's me. Okay, there you go.
Yes. It's a wink your left eye or your right eye. There you go.
So you know what? I got to tell you, I got to start with the orangutan, right? Because
Mm,
don't reveal any spoilers, but what
mm.
was your reaction once reading the script and finding how Samuel was going to be involved in the story for both of you?
I knew that that would just be the everything. It didn't matter what we did because that was going to steal the entire movie from any of us. And it's true.
I
No, that
know
was
that
Macon
everybody
Blair's
who read the
idea.
script, that was Macon's idea,
That
right?
was Macon Blair's idea.
And
Genius
we cracked up when
screenwriter.
we heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
And
know that everybody who read the script, that was the thing that was the go-to. That was
Yeah.
the first thing that they would bring up.
it's absolutely hilarious. And you know, the one thing I was thinking is, you have this all-star cast, all these great actors and actresses, right? And it seems to me that everyone is just having an absolute ball in this film. It looks like everyone is really having a good time. Was there ever a hard moment on set for you guys where you're like, oh, this day was difficult?
Josh was in his underwear and his tighty whities for about 3 days in the pouring rain,
Which was difficult for Peter.
which was difficult for me. Yes, I wasn't saying Josh. It was fine for
No,
Josh. Josh seemed
it was
fine with
fine
it.
for me. I was
Yeah,
totally comfortable.
we got very close in that
There was
hotel.
one. There was. I don't, like. Do you get this, Peter? Where I was sick for I think 2 days. I think I had a cold for 2 days,
Yeah,
and I can't remember anything when I have a cold.
right.
So I
You're
was having
cloudy.
call out line and all that kind of stuff. I hate that. It makes you feel like such an amateur.
I don't
What's my
remember.
line? But you
I
don't
don't
remember
remember
that? I
you
was in the
being an
mall.
amateur.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was.
but I know
Or
the
at least
cloudy
I felt that
feeling.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't like that cloudy feeling.
yeah.
All right, so
Anyway,
let's
Julian.
follow up on the tidy whities because the tidy whitey scenes are pretty hilarious. So I'm gonna do a little tongue-in-cheek joke here. So, you know, did you guys need like an intimacy coordinator for those scenes in the hotel in the car where you're crawling all over each other?
Didn't you
Oh
need one
wow.
for Samuel?
I did we? I think
You
we did.
did, which is really funny. That's the absurd part of making a movie.
Yeah.
They did have one there for that scene between Josh and the ape.
In case something was uncomfortable for the monkey, not for me.
No, yeah, nobody was looking out for you. It was
No, nobody ever
we
looks out
kid,
for
but you know, our lovely this actress named Devon who does a lot of motion capture work. She played Samuel, and but it is really funny that you need an intimacy coordinator for that. I just
But
find
the
it.
fact that it was her, which would make sense that you need an intimacy coordinator, but also strangely how kind of fun she was having and how
Yeah,
uncomfortable it was for me.
yeah,
Yeah,
So
which
let
I
me ask
think
you
comes
guys
across in the film.
yeah.
about your relationship before, because you obviously are tremendous actors and you've got great chemistry in this role, but it looks like you guys have known each other for 20 years. I mean, how friendly were you before, you know, being executive producers and working together on this film? Were you guys like pals hanging around?
Well, I was a big fan of. I didn't know Josh, but I was a big fan of his since I saw the comedy "No Country for Old Men." I never laughed so hard in my life. And Sicario, the
That was
follow-up,
very
the sequel, the Sicario, a
who
laugh
better
riot. So
who better to do a comedy with.
I knew he was the guy to do a comedy with. Yeah.
No, you know what? I think that when we got together, we called each other, we had this idea, and then we started pitching it to different people. And I think within the pitch,
Right.
during the pitch, I think we started to really see what that banter was. And it
Yeah.
changed from pitch to pitch.
It's a Hollywood
Sometimes it was
story.
me.
Our
It is a
friendship
Hollywood
grew
story.
pitching.
That's it.
It's
That's
so
honestly
Hollywood.
what it was. It's kind of it's what it was. And sometimes I was the alpha, sometimes he was the alpha.
Right.
And then once we found a kind of our niche,
And the good news
then
is nobody wanted it, so it took us a long time to get. We had a lot of time to get to know each other. Yeah,
That's the truth.
So you know
That's the
what? I
truth.
want to ask you about a couple actors in the film specifically because, like I said before, this is an all-star cast. I mean, everyone here is
oh
so
god,
funny
Glenn
and so
Close,
great.
yeah.
I know. Marissa
Oh,
Oh my
Tomei,
God,
Brendan
yeah.
Fraser.
Glenn Close in Deliverance, and I don't know if you saw that film recently that she
Glenn
did was
Close
just
was in
mind blowing.
Deliverance.
What?
Not Deliverance, the Lee Daniels film. I mean, she was amazing in that film.
Oh, no, 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 no. I've seen pictures, but I haven't seen the film yet. And I hear she's incredible.
Which one?
Raised Expectations,
The
incredible.
Lee
It's like a
Daniels
whole
film.
like exorcism type Lee Daniels film, but pretty good.
Oh,
But you know what? They want me to ask you specifically about Emmett Walsh, right? Because here's a guy that I've been watching my entire life, a legend in Hollywood, and I believe this is one of his last roles. And I think Josh, you had primarily the scene with him. So talk about working with him in those last days. What was he like? Was he cognizant? Was he funny?
He was, there were a couple of scenes, and there was one that we did with Brendan, and he had to have his lines kind of yelled out to him, which I've seen that happen to even younger actors, where you just have a day where you're off and you go, "What's the line? What's the line?" But then when we did the scene in his office, he was as sharp as anybody on that film. He was incredible. He's, you know, it's wild when you see somebody that old still care that much. I think it's a very old school thing. I think a lot of new actors that Peter and I experience when they come up and they go, "I want to be an actor," but really what they're saying is like, "I want to be famous." Whereas when you look back at these old school people who read plays and they were into it and they did theater and they were just in it in every which way. And he was one of those guys. So I'm sure he was the same working with him now as, do you guys hear that? No?
I just hear
a
you.
genius?
There's a blower outside. No, there's no genius here.
Oh, I was just hearing genius. Sorry.
No, no,
Okay.
that was you. That was in your
So
apartment.
somebody's blowing a lot of hot air somewhere?
It's true. Like literally, that's what I was just picking up on. Like I
Yeah,
was talking and I was like, really?
we've heard that.
Like it's symbolic. I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. Now go away.
Well, I live in the city. They say New York is the city that never sleeps. This is the city that always beeps. There's so much beeping from trucks backing up in mine. That was a good little play of words I just did. I'm pretty proud
It
of myself.
was. That was pretty great.
I
That's
just
the
came up with
genius
that.
that you were
Just came up
picking
with
up
that.
on.
Just
That
came up
was
with
the
that.
genius. Yeah.
All
God, you're
right,
something
so
else. I'd love to
so
work
so
with you.
Emmett Walsh, he hates the cans. He's the guy that shot the cans in The Jerk. It's the Steve
That's
Martin movie.
right.
Yeah,
That's right.
I love
People
character.
who shoot things.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Yeah.
My favorite actors are the character actors, and that character actors is such a weird, almost condescending term in a way because I don't know, but from Harry Dean Stanton to Emmett to all those great guys, it's
Yeah,
just
but then again, you just worked with somebody who's also considered to me in my lexicon of actors, Al Pacino, who I feel
oof.
is, I know he's a leading man, but he's a character actor
yeah,
through and through.
just happens to be the lead of every movie.
I think you
Character
fall into that category of character actor but leading man.
actor. Thanks, man.
All right, so let
What
me squeeze
category do you fall
another.
into?
I don't know. I don't monkey guy. I don't know.
You're definitely a favorite of the orangutans, Josh.
You
All right, so
defy
let me
category. You defy
so
category.
let me squeeze this one more in because this is one of these metrics questions they want me to ask.
That's what she
So
said.
we're
Josh,
we're
where's your
all huge Goonies fans, and like
mm,
when the word came out, there's going to be a Goonies 2, and
mm.
obviously Josh is starring. But would there be any chance to bring the brothers to Goonies and have Peter be in that film too? Could that be a
There's
possibility?
going to be a Goonies 2? No.
I don't know. I don't know.
No. You're
Like,
messing
how do
with
you
me.
feel about that? By the way, when you think of Goonies 2, do you think, "Oh God, that's great, I can't wait to see it," or do you think, "Why would they do that?" Or do you think, "What are these children going to be now? Old alcoholics?"
Well, here's my answer, right? Number one, I was a kid that grew up on the Goonies, but I've been a
Yeah,
film critic for 20 years, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
when I read that the entire original cast is doing something, I
yeah.
respect you. I've seen every single one of your movies, and
Mm.
so I know if you're going to do something with the entire original cast, then pardon my French, but the script should be effing good, right? And so
It should.
expectations are high. So that's how I look at it. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong
That's
before.
no, that's a kind of a wonderful way of looking at it. Corey Feldman's been on stage, and I don't know if he has time to do Goonies 2, but if he does, I'm there.
Bravo.
Would you
Thanks for your
do it if
time,
you got
guys. I
paid
really
the
enjoy
same
your
amount
film.
you got paid on the first one?
God, which is literally like $1,500 or something like that. All right. Good to see you, Julian.
Thanks, guys. Really loved your film. Really funny.
Thanks, Julian.
Thanks,
Thanks so
man.
much.